I really just love and hate trees at the same time. Trees are so beautiful and complex. I mean, have you ever seen a cherry blossom? Those things are awesome looking. Another one of my favorite things is when it's winter and there's icicles hanging off of the trees. It just looks so good. Mario 64 has some of the best looking trees for me. I just really like the way they look. I want to touch them. Is that weird that I want to touch them? Also, notably, the trees in the earlier Pokemon games looked really good. Especially the one that looks like a buff guy. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it looks like a buff guy. But I love trees. I just hate drawing the stinking things. I hate them so much. I think I even said in a devlog in the past that I hate drawing trees. Trees are normally my arch nemesis. I'm just thinking about how ridiculous this video is. Like, look, can you see all of the different things that I've opened up here at the top just for drawing trees? So we're gonna begin our journey at the original version of Jelly World. Shout out to all you people that have been here since the original version. And we have this tree here, and I spent a very long time drawing this tree, and I actually think this tree is extremely beautiful. I love it, and even the ones in the background look really good too. If you remember, I did videos where I added tools to Jelly World, and I was also going to add the ability for you to chop down trees, and so I wanted to make trees have their own life cycle. So I had a little acorn, and then it grew into like a little sapling, and then the sapling grew up, then it grew into like a tiny tree, then the big tree, and then when you chop it down, there's a tree stump. This one right here, it's not look very good, but the rest of it I think looks pretty good, other than the stump. Looks pretty meh. But then I yeeted Jelly World off into the sunset, and I restarted with the newer version of Jelly World. And so when I did that, I drew this tree, which a lot of you have given me your feedback about this tree being particularly ugly. I was basing this tree off of retro games, how they would have like trees where they're like very weird and odd shapes. And I kept this tree for a while, and I actually thought it was pretty good looking. But then the more I made the game and the more I looked at this tree, the more I started to absolutely hate it. I hated it to the point to where I was like, you know what? I'm going to just draw better looking trees. They're going to be more comfy, cozy, and have a better feel when you look at them, and they're going to be much prettier. And then I drew this. It doesn't look terrible, but it does not look very good. I think what it lacks is it lacks character, and it also lacks definition and texture up in these leaves here, and I'm really not good at doing that type of thing. And I also wanted to add different tree types for variety in Jelly World, so I drew a pine tree, and oh goodness, this does not fit the aesthetic for Jelly World at all. I don't like it. I don't know why I drew it, and I don't like it. So I go back to the drawing board. I have a pretty decent base. You know, I have like this kind of thing going on and this going on. These are decent bases for me to build upon. And then I drew these two. And I'm thinking this is better. This is getting there. If you can see this tree on the left here, the sort of like shading that I used is very similar to this tree that I had made previously. The pine tree has more like shadowing and actually looks more like an actual tree, and I decided to add some little bink bink binks, bink bink binks, and then in here like shoo, shoo, shoo. The little leaves on the side here are kind of just like little balls, little fluffy balls. I kind of like that. I'm editing this video after I just said what I said. Please just ignore what I just said. But I was not convinced that this was good enough. I sent this to a few people. They said it looks okay, and I didn't want to hear okay. I wanted to hear that it looks good. I wanted to hear that it looks great and it's a nice looking tree. So then I get to this point. I draw these trees, and this was a very grueling and long process. I mean, look at all the sort of, you got like the darkness stuff coming on there. You got like little bits going around, and I added some little shwee into here, and then I kept the shwee there. So I got these two trees. I think they're really good. I'm actually really, really proud of them. And here's the growth cycle for like the oak tree. So it starts off as a little sapling here, and then obviously it grows up a little bit, and then it goes up there. If you can see, when it grows up here, it's actually kind of like a nod to this version of the tree that I drew. I kind of think I should add a stage between here and here, like in the middle, to where it's like a half-grown tree, kind of like I did here. I think I should do that, and it should be like 4 stages. Here's the growth stages for the pine tree, which the pine tree actually goes through like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think it looks really good. I'm actually quite happy with this. It was a really long journey to get to this point, but I've been trying to be more communicative with you all as my community and as my viewers about the process that I take to make the things that I make. What do you say? Comment down below. Do you like it when the arms are out to the sides like that, or do you like when the arms are going up? I don't just make everything and it's like really cool on the first try. I actually go through a very long process to get to almost everything that I do in a devlog, and then in a devlog I only take like 10 seconds. I'm like, yeah, I drew this tree. I don't ever elaborate on anything on devlogs. That's just kind of something I'm really bad at. If you like my games and my videos, check out the coffee link in the description. Every single donation will work towards a community goal. Not only that, but it helps me keep doing game dev as my job. Anyways, bye.